Ketama are a Spanish new flamenco group. They were formed in Madrid in the early 80s and disbanded in 2004. They released 17 albums, the most recent in 2019, so presumably that was some kind of retrospective. Toumani Diabaté is a kora player from Mali. So a kora is a stringed instrument which is in some way similar to a banjo made of half a gourd and a piece of wood, an animal string, and a whole load of metal strings, typically 21 strings. Toumani grew up in the griot minstrel culture of Mali. He released his first album in 1988 and he's released several more. Most recently in 2023, several of his albums have been high profile collaborations. Danny Thompson is an English multi instrumentalist, but he is best known as a double bass player. He made his first recordings with Alexis Corner's blues band in the 60s, and he has recorded with as a member of Pentangle and with Richard Thompson as part of his band. He has also guested, though, on many high-profile acts recordings, including ABC, Sam Brown, Tim Buckley, Kate Bush, Nick Drake, Donovan, Barbara Dixon, Marianne Faithfull, Peter Gabriel, Mary Hopkin, the incredible string band, Bert Jansch, Tasmin Archer, John Martin, Lorena McKennitt, Ralph McTell, Alison Moyer, Cliff Richard, Rod Stewart, David Sylvan, Talk Talk, T-Rex, Ludan Wainwright III, and Andrew Ridgeley. Hi, my name's Dan, and this is a review of the album Songhai, released by Ketama, Toumani, Diabaté, if I've got that right, and Danny Thompson, which was released in, just let me check that, 1988. And this is my first time listening to it. So this is a collaboration between a Spanish new flamenco band, a Malian Kora player, and an English double bassist. And it's mostly instrumental with some singing. I think some of it is singing in Spanish and some of it is female African style backing vocals, and I don't know what language that would be in. It's world music. Coincidentally, this is interesting, mildly to me, is that there are three countries involved here. England, don't know where you can see on the camera. Let me just get so I can see my own vision. Yeah, England, about there, right. And Spain and Mali. And the reason I've done that is because the three countries are almost kind of lined up in a line. They all have the 0 degrees prime meridian running through them, which I just found mildly interesting. Stylistically, though, it's probably best described as flamenco with incorporated kora. So the kora is played in fast flourishes, and it sounds a bit like a harp. When I read up on it, so what I normally do is I do a listen, let's do this one, and yeah, listen, then a read, and then I listen. Why a read looks like that, I don't know. So I get a listen that's as blind as I can get it, and then I get a listen that's informed. And part of that was I looked at what a kora was and how it's played and stuff about that. And when I read up on about it, I read that it's compared with flamenco guitar in style. So it's not ridiculous to put these two things together, although it did seem a bit of a strange collaboration to me. It is a surprisingly good blend, actually. It feels natural rather than jarring. It's possibly as a result of the fact that these two things have a similar approach, or somewhat stylistically, but it's probably more so just because they're amazing musicians. And amazing musicians can do amazing things. You could kind of put together jazz and heavy metal, and they'd make it work somehow because they're great. Sometimes there's a bit more of an African flavour, but generally it feels quite flamenco. Especially, it feels more African when you've got the African backing singing going on, which I really love, by the way. That's a great sound, vocal sound. It's richly recorded, and it's got a joyful and infectious sound. So, excuse me. So I grew up with a dad who loved world music. So I was exposed to it at an early age. Now there was an explosion of popularity of world music in the late 80s and in the 90s. So this is kind of it's late 80s, so it's part of that explosion. And one of the things that was tended to be different in this explosion is that it was less likely that you'd be listening to field recordings and more studio recordings of world music. And so this stuff being well recorded was quite a feature of this. This is very beautifully recorded, it's nice. But when that kind of explosion happened, I was well poised to appreciate it. I think it was definitely a thing at that time. If you were somebody who was socially conscious, then you embraced this world music thing. And I feel a little bit smug that I already was into world music by then. So, but I wish I'd encountered this when it first came out, because I would have loved it. I did love it now as well, obviously, a lot. So yeah, it's great. It's a really nice album. It's got a great feel to it. It's got some excellent music in it. And it nearly got pushed up in the score up into the nines, but not quite. It's what else can I use? It's beautiful, is elegant, and is effortlessly masterful, is what I've written down. So, yeah, I quite liked it really. That, however, is my opinion. I'd love to know what your opinion is. So, will you let me know by leaving me a comment down in the comments down there? It's what they're for if you've never come across them before. I'm patronising, sorry. Please leave me a comment. I love to know what people think of these albums. And, if you've got anything to say about the review as well, please, do that. But that's it from me for now.
Y no la puedo detener. Hay las olas del mar bravío y no la puedo detener. Y con